What's going on, everyone? Bran here from Bloody Breakdown, and today I wanted to do something I haven't done in a while. I noticed I have a little stack here that I haven't even added to the horror shelves back there. So I figured what I would do before I even add those, since I'll have them out here ready, is take a look at the most recent few pickups that I've made to add to the horror collection. DVD and Blu-ray only still, with some minimal VHS I have left over the years. But for the purposes of this pickup, it's going to be DVDs and Blu-rays. So let's go ahead. And before we do this, ladies and gents, remember, leave me a like if you enjoyed this video, subscribe and turn on notifications if this channel is something you're interested in, if you're interested in horror film content. And check down below in the description section. You'll see a couple of links to follow me on Twitter at @bloody_Bran. Link is down there. And the Patreon for this YouTube channel. So if you'd like to support this channel, that's the way to do it. The link is down there. Now, let's go ahead and jump in, and we'll start small. I think I'll go through the DVDs first. I have less of those. I'm more of a Blu-ray collector now. Still haven't actually made my way over to 4K yet. I always am a little bit hesitant to move over, especially with there being a lot of not physical media being a prevailing model, which makes my asshole itch a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. So this is one that is a rebuy, because I bought this movie years ago, but I bought it from like a Blockbuster when they were doing a sale on, you know, used discs and things of that nature, and it was just beat to hell. I only got a couple of plays out of it before it just completely stopped playing altogether. So I figured I'd pick it up again. Here is The Strangers. You know, The Strangers and its sequel are a couple of films that I've never, in my opinion, I don't think I've ever really given much of a fair shake. So I did pick this one up, and who knows, there may be the sequel to this film somewhere later in this pickup video. But yeah, it's a film that I think I need to maybe watch a few more times, because I don't think I quite appreciate it the way a lot of people do. I don't dislike it from memory, but I do, you know, seeing so many people talk about it in such a positive light, this and even its sequel, I feel as if it's something I should probably give a try again. So up next, like I said, we're going to stick with DVDs here. So we're going to go ahead and move on to the next one. This is not a rebuy. This is the first time I've ever owned this film. And I have to shout out Dead Meat here. I know he and I had a little bit of a Twitter, I don't know, back and forth, I guess, one time years ago. And some people think I still don't like the guy, but he's a good dude. I don't have anything against him. I would know about this movie had it not been for him, and that is the Belko Experiment. He did a Dead Meat on this, and it actually convinced me to check it out. I watched it, I streamed it actually, thoroughly enjoyed it, and I finally came across a good copy of it here on DVD, and I thought, you know what, this is the time to pick it up and add it to the collection. It's unlike almost any other film that I recall seeing, and I'm a big fan of it now, so I'm happy to add it to the collection, The Belko Experiment. And if you haven't seen this film, I do suggest check it out. Give it a shot. It's really good. Now, speaking of films that a lot of people think are really good, and maybe I'm not just seeing it, maybe I need to watch it again. That's the reason I finally broke down and purchased The Witch. Now, what is this? Eggers? Is this Robert Eggers? Am I thinking about this correctly here? Is it Robert? Yes, Robert Eggers. So here's a guy. I own one of his other films, The Lighthouse, with Robert Pattinson. And it's one that I think, like, I get its artistry, but I'm just not a big fan of the film. And I feel the same way about The Witch. Like, I appreciate the film for being a good film. I'm just not really much of a fan of it. And considering that I'm not opposed to the artsy form of horror, even more recent stuff, like stuff from Ari Aster, for example. I really appreciate Hereditary and Midsummer. So I think there's something here that I'm just not catching, and I'm gonna have to watch it a few more times before maybe I become a fan too. I don't know. Maybe it won't happen. Maybe it will. I don't know. At the end of the day, I'd say if nothing else, it deserves to be in a horror collection. I'll say that. So coming up next here, I've been trying to reach out and find more Alfred Hitchcock films because I've always appreciated his work. But looking at my collection, I don't have a whole lot of Hitchcock. So I did find The Birds here. This is the same edition. I'm not sure what is it. I guess it's a standards collector's edition. I have the same form of Psycho, so I think it'll be cool to add this one. Like I said, I mean, what horror fan doesn't appreciate Hitchcock's work? And if you're talking about a horror film collection, you got to have Hitchcock in there, especially Psycho and The Birds. In my opinion, are two of my favorites from him. And yeah, happy to add that one. So this is, I believe, the last DVD in this section here before we move on to Blu-rays. And this is one that I caught on Netflix a number of years ago. And apparently it's from Eli Roth. I believe he produced it because John Watts directed. And this is one that I got to be honest with you, I thought it was going to be total schlock. And it ended up actually being pretty good, at least by my standards anyway. And that is Clown. Like I said, a couple of years ago, I remember being down with a toothache. I didn't want to go anywhere or do anything. And I was just kind of waiting for the dentist's office to open up the next morning. And I watched this along with a couple of other movies. And this is the one that really stood out to me. I really liked the Cloyne, I believe it was called, the antagonist in this film. It's kind of got like a Goosebumps Haunted Mask idea to it, where you put the suit on or you put the whatever on, and it eventually consumes you and takes you over. The demon thing at the end of this film looks really cool. There's some really interesting moments where you're like, is this thing going to eat a child? It's very tense, very entertaining. And I really appreciated it. So yeah, I figured let's add this to the collection. Also, my wife is deathly afraid of clowns. So here's another one that she won't watch with me. So yeah, from there, we're going to move over to Blu-rays, and I'll start it out with one of my pickups here that I think I am most happy with. And that is the Arrow video release of Alice, Sweet Alice. It's another film that I appreciate, but I've never really had the opportunity to just watch and absorb continuously, to be able to do every so many weeks like I do with a lot of the films that I have. So it was really cool to find the Arrow release of this. Brooke Shields. I'm sure most of you are familiar with this film. If not, what the fuck are you doing with your life? Go check it out. But I'm finally glad to be able to sit down and watch this thing after so many years. I don't. It's been years since I've even seen it. And just kind of, drink it in, for lack of a better term. So yeah, I'm really excited for that one. The Arrow video release. It's good stuff right there. Now speaking of a release, here's a new release. And this is one that I just watched. I just streamed it just maybe 2 weeks ago, I believe. It was when it was fairly new. Yeah, I think it had just come out. Not its an initial run, but that couple of weeks later when they released it again. Not into theaters, but streaming and Blu-ray, DVD, all that. And I got to tell you, the new Wrong Turn is probably the best Wrong Turn. After I put a poll up on Twitter a couple of weeks ago after I saw this, asking people if they preferred the original 2003 Wrong Turn or this one. And the 2003 one won. And I can't say I was too surprised. It's really like a cult classic at this point in time. And so many people love it, and it's grown on people. But I got to tell you, do not sleep on this one. I know it's a reboot, and it's changing the franchise from what it was, but don't sleep on it. It's really fucking good, and it's got an amazing final girl. What was her name here? Charlotte Vega does an amazing job in this film. If you haven't seen it, which there's a good chance you haven't because it is fairly new. I think it came out like a month or so ago. Check it out. take Brand from Bloody Breakdown's word for it. Wrong Turn is definitely worth a look. So up next in the Blu-rays here is one that is just always so damn expensive for my taste, considering the film is garbage, but it's my garbage. Garbage Day, that is. Silent Night, Deadly Night 2 on Blu-ray. Not big on any of the subsequent sequels after this one. I love the original. It's corny. It's crap. It's campy. I know, but it's really good. And I feel the same way about this one. Garbage Day is an amazing line. Ricky is an amazing killer. And this film is just fun. That's what it is. It's not meant to be taken seriously. It's fun. And I have fun every time I watch it. So I'm glad to finally have gotten my hands on it. I really couldn't find it at a better price. So I was happy about that as well. So now, earlier I did mention that I probably had the sequel to The Strangers somewhere in here, since I really wanted to become more acquainted with this franchise. So I did pick it up on Blu-ray here, The Strangers Pray at Night. And I've heard really good stuff about this. Now, I kind of watched it once before, but I'm not going to lie to you, I was already really heavy-eyed when I was watching it. So as much as I wanted to stay up and check it out, my recollection of this film is very little. So I'm really looking forward to getting into it, checking it out, rewatching The Strangers, and then watching this, because, like I said, it's something that I think I should have more of a respect for this franchise than I do. Let me know your thoughts down below, because I'm going to be jumping in very soon, maybe even starting tonight. And this is another sequel here. Just going to go ahead and jump right into it. Cabin Fever Patient Zero. This is the third entry in the Cabin Fever franchise. It is a prequel to the original. And other than that weird early remake they made, this was the last one in the original timeline, I guess, or the original series, the original part of the franchise. And I think this is the one also I'm the least familiar with. I really enjoy Cabin Fever. I really do. Sometimes I get a hankering to watch it. I even kind of like Spring Fever, Cabin Fever 2, but I don't remember much about this one. I'm not that well acquainted with it. So it's another one that the completist in me wanted to get it to round out my Cabin Fever films, but also it's one that I think that I'm gonna look into a little bit more and see if there's more value or merit to it than maybe I originally thought. Also, we have another sequel here, and this is one that I'm a huge fan of the original Craft. So I decided to go ahead and pick out The Craft Legacy. And I did check this one out already. I'll say this, it's not as good as the original, which with sequels, especially with a lot of time in between, maybe I guess you could kind of see that coming, but I'll be honest with you, it's not a bad film. It's pretty decent. It passes, and it may not be what the original Craft was, but I'd say for what it is, it's not a bad film. If you're a fan of the original, check it out. And we have two more Blu-rays left before we round out this pickup video. And this one is brought to us by Shudder. That's Har Noir. Pretty much a documentary on black horror. And it's very informative, very educational. Picked this one up at the same time as I picked up this last one I'm going to be talking about. Both are from Shudder, and I think they're released at the same time, if I'm not mistaken, because it hasn't been that long since I picked these up. Maybe 2 months, 3 tops. But like I said, I learned as a lifelong horror fan at this point. This December, I will have been watching the genre intently for 25 years. And you know, I'm a white dude, you know, I'm a white dude in America. Let's say that too, where a lot of times you don't get a proper education on certain things. And I think, you know, as far as the black community goes, and cinema is one of them. So I wanted to check it out. I did. I enjoyed it. Going up in the collection, so to speak. And the last one that I picked up here at the same time as that last one is what a lot of people call the scariest film of 2020. And the title here says the scariest film of the past decade. a Shudder original, Host. And this is a good one. This is a really good one. If you didn't like Unfriended and its sequel, and I think there was another one that was kind of like it, I'm not really sure. If you're not really cool with that type of film, try this one out. It's better than Unfriended. It's better than any other social media, FaceTime, Zoom, whatever kind of horror film. This is the blueprint, in my estimation, for what that type of film should be. Now, am I a huge fan of that type of film? Not necessarily. But if you're going to do it right like Host did, because this is an amazing film. For the most part, unknown participants in this film, actors, actresses, crew, and they did this at the height of COVID. Amazing stuff. What they were able to put together under the circumstances, just plain out amazing. I love it. I think it's like I said, for that genre, it's definitely the best in my opinion. So there it is. All my most recent Blu-ray and DVD pickups. Let me know what you all think in the comment section down below. I think I'm building a pretty damn impressive horror collection. I do have my horror collection up in full, but it is from a number of years ago, 2017 or 18, something like that. So I am going to have to eventually go back and do like a whole massive video of the updated collection. That's why I try to do these updates as best I can. But I think that's what I'm going to be doing eventually at some point in time. It's just going over the entire collection all over again. Just an update video. And yeah, I know a lot of people out there in the horror community really enjoy the horror collection videos and the pickup videos. So I enjoy sharing my collection, and I hope you enjoy seeing what all we have here at Bloody Breakdown. So with that said, like I said just a second ago, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. I'll try not to beat the shit out of my keyboard from here on out, because that actually did kind of hurt. And yeah, leave a like if you've enjoyed this video. Subscribe and turn on notifications if you are a fan of horror cinema, because that's pretty much all we do here at Bloody Breakdown. And before we go, check down below in the description section. You'll see a link to my Twitter. You can click there and go check me out, or you can just go to Twitter and search @bloody_brand. And also, there's another link down there in the description section to Patreon, where you can support this channel and what it is we do here at Bloody Breakdown. So with that said, I want to thank you all for watching. Leave your comments down below. Looking forward to having a conversation with you all. And yeah, I'm Brent from Bloody Breakdown. We'll catch you all next time.